Good day, everyone. Welcome to CAPIC's bi-weekly immigration update. My name is Chitra Bhatia, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tobey. So over to Tobey for the update on restoration and work authorization.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the bi-weekly immigration update. The first update we're going to introduce today is with regard to restorations. So it used to be the case that people will have 90 days from the date that their status expired to apply for restoration. But due to the impact of COVID-19, a lot of people cannot leave Canada on time or to obtain necessary documents to apply for extensions in time. And that's why the government of Canada has introduced this temporary measure to extend the 90-day extension period. So from now, if people's status expired after January 30th, 2020, they will have until December 31st of 2020 to apply for their restoration. So that would solve a lot of problems for people who have gone out of status for because of the impact of COVID-19. And in the same temporary measure, there's also rules for people who are restoring to have their work permits renewed. So if temporary workers in Canada have their status expired after January 30th, 2020, they will have until December 31st to restore to another new work permit. And if the new work permit is going to be a closed one based on a LMIA or LMIA exempt job offer, then they will have the eligibility to keep working during the time that they're waiting for their restoration to come through. So to do that, after they apply for the restoration, they will have to send a message to IRCC through the web form and ask for that specific authorization. And IRCC's website has a message template for them to copy and paste into the web form, so they can communicate the exact message to IRCC to obtain that authorization. So that's the update about restoration and work authorization within that period. So what kind of updates do you have on your side, Chitra?
Yeah, so before I start with my update, Tobey, I have two questions for you on this. One of them is, I'll give you a scenario. A client who is on a spousal open work permit received a positive LMIA. The application has been submitted for the new closed work permit. His current work permit expires on July 30th. Does he have to stop working, or can he continue working until a decision is made on his application?
Okay, so this is clearly a situation where someone is trying to go from an open work permit to closed work permit. So before the decision on the closed work permit application is rendered, the person has implied status, and they can continue working as if he still has a open work permit, and he just only need to comply with the conditions based on the previous work permit until the closed work permit is issued. So in that case, yes, the person can continue working and just assume he has an open work permit.
That is great, actually. Thank you for answering that. I have another question. Nowadays there's so many questions that come up and different scenarios, so it's good to have clarification. So a recent graduate has received a postgraduate work permit. Her husband's original spousal open work permit has an expiry date of November this year. Should he stop working now until she gets OAB level job offer, payslips, etc., or can he continue working until his work permit expires?
Actually, the person can continue working because his work permit is valid. Even though the work permit was obtained based on the person's spouse was studying as a student, but that doesn't mean that if the spouse graduated, the work permit becomes invalid. The work permit is actually valid until November, sometime in November. So until sometime in November, the person can work based on this work permit as usual.
Thank you. That's great. I think it's a great news that IRCC came up with this restoration clause as well as the work authorization clause. as a lot of people were actually in dilemma what to do.
Yeah. It helps a lot of people who otherwise would not obtain their temporary resident status back because of the lapse of the 90 days.
Yeah. So there's some great updates by IRCC on study permits and postgraduate work permits, and learning through distance learning, learning outside Canada. So they actually announced a lot of things yesterday. There were policy updates. So I'm going to actually talk about that as well. So as per IRCC, they will be making decision on complete applications for study permit. So they will have started processing that. And they also mentioned that failure to submit missing information or documents may not result in refusals, but we suggest provide a proper explanation if you're submitting an application why you're missing a document. They also announced that SDS stream, which is very popular in some countries, student direct stream, they say that you can only apply if you have all the documentations. In many countries, students are not able to either get GIC or medical or IELTS, but there is no exemption for SDS stream. So they do have to provide all the documents that are required for SDS stream. Then only they can apply. Otherwise, they should apply under the regular stream or wait to get all the documents. So that was an important update. And then we had a on part-time status and impact on postgraduate work permit. So we see that a lot of time these GLIs are not able to offer a course, or the student status has changed from full-time to part-time due to course delivery or at the DLI level. So in that case, in case there is a change from the DLI level for winter, spring, and summer 2020 semesters, their eligibility for a postgraduate work permit will not be impacted if they are on a part-time status. But we would say that maintain that, the status has changed because of the DLI, and, when you're applying for a postgraduate work permit, have enough proof once you apply. So also distance learning in Canada. So students who were already studying in Canada and whose classes were moved online because of COVID-19 won't be penalized with regard to their postgraduate work permit eligibility. Same thing for distance learning outside Canada. For students who hold a study permit and begin their studies in Canada but left Canada and are continuing their courses online from their home country will not be penalized for postgraduate permit if at least 50% of their program of study is completed in Canada. So, and also applicants who have been approved for a study permit to begin a program in spring, summer, or fall 2020 semester, and who begin their program online from their home country instead of trying to travel to Canada this time won't be penalized if they do 50% of their program outside Canada. So, and there were important changes, announcements in regard to student work authorization, both for on-campus as well as for off-campus. So for on-campus, they said, IRCC said that you can continue working remotely for the employers. So, but they should be within the boundaries of the educational institution for which they were registered. But employers must provide them a teleworking work agreements to students as a confirmation that they were working remotely for them. So that's an important agreement in case any of the students who were working on campus and now working remotely for the same employer, they should actually get a teleworking work agreement from their employer. And also for the off-campus, they said subject to authorization, like any number of hours they were authorized for, they will remain the same. So if they were, they're still subject to the same authorized number of hours as they were when they were a full-time student. So even if their studies have gone part-time, they will be able to work off-campus. Say they were authorized to work for 20 hours off-campus, still they can work 20 hours off-campus. And during the breaks, they can work full-time. So the same authorizations remain, even if your studies have gone part-time because of COVID-19. So these were the important announcements for today.
Yeah, Chitra, I don't know if you have read it. There's some good news about the PGWPs because the government has been relaxing the rule just for the sake of COVID-19. But in terms of people who have to start their programs, overseas prior to obtaining study permits or study permit approvals, I just read that IRCC is saying those times, they confirm those times will not be counted when calculating the time period for PGWPs in the future. So that would be one bad news among all of the good ones.
Yes, you're correct. They have to first get the study permit. They have introduced a two-step study permit process, because a lot of students are not able to give biometrics, or not able to obtain police clearance, or not able to get the medicals done. So now they have introduced a two-step study permit approval process. They will approve the study permit, but they will not. They will issue the final study permit only once, they have the police clearance, they have the biometrics. So so they can only study once they have an approval of the study permit. But there's no guarantee that if they have paid the fees, or there's no guarantee that they will be issued a final visa and a study permit. So they're doing it at their own risk. You're correct. If you're studying from outside, you have to. If you don't have a study permit, do not study from outside, as it will not be counted toward the postgraduate work permit.
And earlier on, there was a tweet from IRCC that I think that tweet confused a lot of people. It said overseas online education will be still counted as part of the PGWP eligibility period, but later on the IRCC website manual updated and confirmed that no, it won't be counted.
Yes, that is correct.
So that will be all of the updates for today's biweekly immigration update channel. And please subscribe to our My Consultant YouTube channel to view future episodes of biweekly immigration updates. And I'm Tobey, and my co-host is Chitra, and we are registered immigration consultants. Please subscribe to this channel, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.